It's only what, 10:19 where I'm at. I think I'm on Mountain Time, Colorado time. I think something like that. But put some love in my body, man. There's some bad ones all over the airport this morning. All different flavors too. This shit's so damn cold. You know, I drink room temperature water, man. I don't really be drinking the ice water. This shit a little too cold for me, but I ain't had no water since early this morning, so gotta put some ice cold love in my body, man. But yeah, I'm in Guatemala right now. I ain't doing nothing in Guatemala. I ain't spending no time here. I just got a connecting flight here. It's the only reason why I'm here. But the way that I went about it, you know, I it's not like one booking. I booked two separate bookings. One was from Colombia to here, and then now I'm leaving from Guatemala to the United States. But boy, they almost did me so dirty, man. I almost didn't make it. Give y'all a little bit of game. Hold on. So, this is what happened right now. My flight from Medellin this morning left at like 7:20. And Medellin, I believe, is an hour ahead of here. So I landed here at like 9 o'clock or like 8:58 to be exact, right? But this is how janky Colombia is, and why they was like this don't make no sense to me, because it's like, once I leave y'all country, why are y'all worried about what I do in another country or what I have to deal with in another country? But Colombia almost didn't give me my boarding pass, and they almost didn't check my bags because of the short window of time between my flights. I only had like 2 hours layover, and the airline in Colombia was telling me that they have a policy where, in order to fly somewhere, your outbound flight, you have to have a window of at least 6 hours. And my window was only 2 hours. They was trying to say it was an hour because they was looking at it on their time, but that's a whole different thing, but whatever. So because of that, they almost didn't give me my flight. And I'm telling them, I'm like, I'm running drag on their ass. I'm like, look, man, I'm broke. I done spent $800 on this flight. I spent my last dime. What, you know, I don't have money to rearrange my flight. I don't have money to change my flight, you know. So if I miss this flight, I'm gonna just be asked out. The dude was like, you know, in his Colombian accent, he like, it's impossible. You can't get on this flight unless you have a later flight. So, you know, most people would have just chalked it up, man. Most people would have just took that and accepted that, right? But you see, I'm in Guatemala right now. You see, I got on that flight. Now, the reason why I got on that flight is because, you know, first of all, I'm a pimpin', man. I don't take no for an answer, man. I got game. So, you know, I figured it out. And I finagled some shit. I ain't gonna say on here, because that's some game that you know, everybody on here might not deserve. I might do a Patreon video and drop that game as far as what I did in order to get on the flight. But I did what I had to do, got on that flight, and now I'm here in Guatemala, and I'm waiting for my flight to board now, on my way back to the U.S. But yeah, man, they Colombia they just almost did some janky shit. But like I said, I don't know why they were so concerned about, you know, what I have to deal with here as far as like having a short window between flights, a short layover between flights. I don't know if they could be held responsible for that. Like if they send somebody out here and because the window of time is too short, they missed their connected flight and now they stuck in Guatemala. I don't know if Colombia is like liable for that. I don't know. But it's some bullshit. And it's a good thing I decided to leave super duper early. Cause like I said, my flight took off at like 7:20 or 7:19, some shit like that. But I left to head to the airport at like 3 o'clock this morning because I didn't have shit else to do. I cut my hair and showered up and packed my bags and all that shit. So I was ready. I really was ready to go at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I was just sitting there and I was like, shit, ain't no point just sitting there. I might as well take my ass to the airport. So that's what I did. But it's a good thing I left early because I just barely made it on my flight. Well, I ain't gonna say just barely, but you know, all that extra time I spent figuring out a way on that flight. You in prison, boy? You must be brand new to the channel, man. Glory to God, man. I ain't seen a prison yard since 2005, man. It's been 21 years. Well, on November 1st, exactly. On November 1st this year, which is in a couple or a few months, it'll be exactly 21 years since I seen a prison yard, man. I ain't got my setup to give myself a round of applause like I be doing on the laptop, but round of applause for a pimp, man. I ain't seen a prison yard in 21 years, man. I done seen a jail cell within that time. And I'm kind of proud of myself on that too, because I ain't even seen a jail cell, shit, like 5 years. You know, and I never thought about that till right now, but this is the longest time that I've went in my adult life without going to jail for at least a few hours or something like that. Last time I went to jail, it was like all day. Like I got arrested at like 6 in the morning and I got released at 8 o'clock at night. So what's that, 14 hours I was in jail? That's the last time I've been in jail. That was 5 years ago. I'm proud of myself on that one too, man, because you know, most of my adult life, I usually don't go a year without going to jail for something. It usually be some fluke shit, you know, just some little bullshit, you know, where I probably won't be in there for like a day or, you know. But you know what's funny? Within me not going to jail in 5 years, I ain't really spent a lot of time in Vegas. See, when I used to spend a lot of time in Vegas, man, Vegas will find a way to put you in jail, especially when you a nigga, man, and you not from there. They will find a way to put you in jail, man. As much as I used to love Vegas, now it's kind of like whatever. I don't really have that same spark about Vegas like I used to. But man, Vegas, that place right there, they have put me in jail for like the most bullshit reasons ever in life. You know, mind you, Vegas is the same place, even though I've never been to jail for these reasons, but Vegas is the same place that has a charge called defacing a hamburger. If you go to McDonald's and you order a quarter pounder with cheese and they put pickles and tomatoes on your burger and you take those pickles and tomatoes off and throw them in the trash, that's a crime. Defacing a hamburger, or at least it was. I don't, you know, it's been a long time since I really, you know, brushed up on the law about Vegas, but for sure once upon a time, and it might still be now, that was a charge. You could go to jail for that. Another stupid ass charge in Vegas, and I think New Orleans had that charge too, that defacing a hamburger shit. New Orleans had it and Vegas had it. Another stupid ass charge Vegas had was say you driving down the street and there's some pigeons in your path. And as you driving down the street, the pigeons fly out of your way. That's disturbing the flight of a pigeon. That's another stupid ass. It just give you an idea how thirsty Vegas is for putting people in jail. So just talking about that shit make me glad I don't really be in Vegas no more. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, like I said, man, I just wanted to go live and tell y'all how my morning was going so far. But you know, because I think outside the box, because I don't think inside of a square, you know what I mean? I don't think inside of a square, I think outside the square. that's how I made it on my flight. You know what I mean? If I was one of them people that just accept whatever's given to me and accept whatever cards is dealt my way, I wouldn't have been on. I'd be stuck in Colombia right now. You know what I mean? Because they told me some bullshit. You know, not the last time, but the last time before the last time when I left Colombia, I had an obstacle, and I had to finagle some shit and get around that. You know what I mean? But the moral of the story is, man, when you faced with an obstacle or adversity or whatever it is, man, and you know you got determination, you won't be denied, man. Cause I wasn't finna get denied. They wasn't finna just pocket my money for these flights and have me stuck in Colombia. I mean, I wouldn't have been stuck like that, but you know what I mean. I'd have been asked out on $800 on flights. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Guatemala City is lit. Was there all March. Salute. Hey, I've been wanting to come to Guatemala too. I ain't never spent no time here. This is the only time I've even touched foot. Hold on. It's the first time I even touched foot in Guatemala. But I do want to come. I'm gonna come back here one of these days and spend some time because I did a little bit of research and they got some dope. It's a lake that I seen that I want to go to out here. They got a nice ass lake. I'm sure they probably got numerous nice ass lakes and shit like that and other shit that I'm not familiar with. But I do want to come back here and check it out. But not today. You know what I mean? I got to get back to the States and handle some business, man. I ain't been to the United States since 2025, man. You know, Pip been on the move, man. Shit. I've been moving around, man, and enjoying life and enjoying other cultures and other regions and other atmospheres, other energy, all that shit. Yeah, man. You know, life been good, man. So, yeah, shit been cool, man. Right way, covering all the bases. Yes, sir. You dig? Yeah, man. So it feel kind of weird. You know, it's a trip because somebody asked me, was I in jail earlier? No, I'm not in jail. But you know, it's a trip like me going back to the States right now. It feels like I don't know. I had that thought this morning, and I shouldn't have had that thought because it's not really a good thought. But I feel like I just did a bid, and I'm getting released from the bid. That's how I feel going back to the States. You know what I mean? Because I, you know, that's the only time I ever been, you know, away from American society for so long is when I was in jail. You know what I mean? So being away from American society this long and going back, it feels like that same feeling of getting released from jail. It's a trip. But yeah, Jody Killer for real. Nah, I don't think like that. Nah, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, not saying it's like I don't know how to describe it. That's a thought that crossed my mind this morning. But my flight is boarding right now, man. I just wanted to touch bases with y'all, let y'all know a pimp straight. I know y'all was concerned about me because I was down there when that earthquake hit in Colombia the other day, and prayers and blessings to the people that's been affected by that. But I was, you know, probably 100 miles away or 200 miles away from the epicenter, so I definitely felt it. I was sitting on the couch in my drawers on the laptop, fucking around, and I felt the couch shaking. And I thought I was tripping. Then I looked on the table, and I had a bottle of love, and the bottle of love was doing like this. I'm like, oh shit. So then I stood up and I felt the ground shaking. And I was on the second floor, mind you. And I'm like, oh shit, this shit is for real. So I hurried up, threw on some sweats and a tank top and was getting ready to run outside, but the shit stopped by that time. But it felt like it was a long ass time. It was shaking for a cool minute. You know what I mean? It was kind of spooky. You know, I'm from Southern California, as many of you know. So, you know, I grew up with earthquakes, so I'm kind of like familiar with them, but I ain't felt an earthquake like that in a very long time. And like I said, I wasn't even where I was, like far from the epicenter, but it still shook real good. But Medellin didn't really get no damage like that. It just shook, and it was probably scary for some people, especially those who ain't familiar with earthquakes like that. But it was a little spooky for me too, because I was gonna run up out that building because, you know, um, the building that I was staying in, I'm not sure how old it is, but a lot of them older buildings in Colombia, if an earthquake hit, man, they gonna fall down. If you're in a newer building, like if you're in a high rise in Colombia, because they got a lot of nice condos, it's like, 18th, 19th, 20th floor, all that. If you somewhere like that, you cool. But if you in one of them older buildings, and they got some nice older apartments too, but you know, yeah, it is what it is. But I gotta end this because I gotta make sure I make it to this flight because I went through a whole bunch of shit to get here. So I'm gonna tap in with y'all later on, man. If you are moving around in traffic, please do so in a safe fashion, man. Of course, as always, long live the incomparable Simple to P, man. 100K subscribers on that YouTube, you dig? I'll holler.